Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Comic Book Users. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Cover. Apologize, we've been away for a little bit. It's been a crazy last month or two here in Comic Book Users land. Both Bill and I have got all sorts of things going on in our personal lives, and getting together to shoot videos has just been impossible of late. And even me just doing one-offs has been equally impossible. I just haven't had time to go through comics and read comics. I've been doing all sorts of other stuff, crazy things going on. It is what it is, right? So, but I'm back here today. Hopefully Bill and I will get together sometime over the next week. I'll try and bring you a couple solo episodes in the meantime, but we are planning on getting together and shooting some videos soon. So it's getting harder and harder to dedicate stuff to this channel. It really is. So for those of you who watch me on Sea of Tranquility, you know how busy we are over there. And yeah, so doing the best we can here. But again, apologies for being rather quiet of late. Today we're going to take a look at a pretty cool issue that I want to thank Scott Berry for. From 1974, issue number 255 of Batman. This is a big 100-page, super spectacular, 50 cents in 74 for 100 pages. That's not too bad, right? Cool cover, right? Recognize the artist? You should. Moon of the Wolf, new Batman shocker. Moon of the Wolf, as well as some other stories. So, of course, you got a main new story and then a bunch of kind of reprints. And, yeah, that's Neil Adams on the cover, of course, right? Forgot to mention that, but I figured you knew. Most people can spot Neil Adams' artwork a mile away, right? So very cool cover and cool werewolf story. So here's your table of contents, right? A lot of jam-packed with content in this one. I mean, all sorts of stuff. So here we've got the main story written by Len Wein, Neil Adams, Dick Giordano on the art and the inks, and Julius Schwartz, editor. So again, it's a werewolf story. So here we got a lovely young lady in her apartment. Some creepy creature looking in with fangs and fur. Right, he goes climbing through the window. Of course, Batman is watching all this because Batman just happens to be everywhere, right? He's out in Gotham patrolling the night, and this shaggy creature comes through the window. The woman sicks her dog on the werewolf, and of course the dog meets its demise, but of course Batman follows right back in, crashes through the window, and a little battle ensues, but the werewolf actually goes and grabs the woman, throws her out the window. Batman dives after the woman, saves her, but in all this time, the werewolf creature has gotten away, right? So there we go. He goes to Commissioner Gordon and explains what he just ran into, and Commissioner Gordon's like, guy in a wolf costume, what's that all about, right? We've heard some other things out there, right? What's going on? So then we cut to the werewolf, who arrives in this laboratory, changes back into a human. And so then we get this whole discussion between this kind of scientist guy and the guy who is the werewolf, and they tell the whole backstory about how they came to be friends, not friends, but they came into contact with each other because he was going through some issues, and on the full moon he was getting these bad headaches and everything like that. So I found out that he had some sort of strange but very early onset of lycanthropy. So what does this scientist guy do? He actually injects him with some serum of the blood of wolves, right? Timber wolves, and now he turns into a werewolf when the moon is full, right? So, but the scientist has this serum that can cure him of this, but he's like, but I will only cure you of this if you do something for me. And as it turns out, he wants him to kill Batman because this scientist guy is actually a criminal, and he was put into jail by Batman in earlier issues, much earlier issues of the Batman comic, right? So this guy's name is Milo, right? So he's got some history with Batman. So of course they work out a thing where he's going to set him up to go and capture and kill Batman for him, which then of course in his human state he goes and sets this trap talks to Bruce Wayne, actually, because everybody knows that Bruce Wayne has some relationship with Batman. And so he tells him about this whole like financial opportunity and whatnot. But, and you know, that Batman might be interested in something like this. And so, of course, then Bruce is Batman. So he goes to this guy's house, his apartment, whatever, and to find out more information. And he can tell something's kind of off here. He gets tricked. There's like a kind of gas that's going on in this place. And he's, of course, knocked out. And as you can kind of see where this is all going, a really cool artwork here. So they've got Batman imprisoned. Okay. The scientist dude, this Milo guy, he turns him back into the werewolf. But then he goes and attacks. The more he turns into the werewolf, the more he's losing any kind of human thought and reason, right? So he goes and attacks Milo. While all this is going on, Batman wakes up. He's on the roof, all chained up. Here comes the werewolf. Right, so he manages to find a way to get loose and avoid the werewolves. It looks a lot like Werewolf by Night from Marvel, right? So then he gets loose. They start the battle, but it's like no matter what he does, Batman's pounding away on him. Nothing really happens. Okay. They continue to fight in the pouring rain. Batman throws a metal kind of pole or whatever, lands, goes right into the werewolf. Doesn't kill him though. As he's starting to pull it out, lightning bolt comes down, electrifies him. And after the dust settles, Batman finds the pole, but no werewolf. And you get a little epilogue of the werewolf guy, out somewhere, hanging out with wolves, trying to find a way to cure himself of his lycanthropy. But when he turns into the wolf, he's there amongst family almost, right? So that's kind of how that story ends. Pretty cool. Not a long story, though. And this is 100 pages, so we got a lot of space left over for old stories. So here, and I'm not going to go into depth into all these, but here you got something really old here, obviously from way, way back. This is kind of a weird story, the first Batman. So here we got Batman and Robin, who they basically he finds the costume of a Batman who fought crime even before I started my own career as a crime fighter. So here he finds this old Batman costume. It's not his, right? And so they go into this whole story of his father and his father's dealings with the mob and all that. And weirdly enough, in the story, what he's telling is that his father, Thomas Wayne, was really the first Batman, and that was his costume. So this is really odd because nowhere else in the history of Batman have I ever heard this, right? As far as I know, that was never the case. So this is kind of like this weird, like, alter universe story plot. For those who maybe know Batman a little bit better than me, maybe you can correct me on this, but I don't remember ever hearing about Thomas Wayne being a superhero, right? So here, they even resurrect the costume here, right? To kind of get back at some of these mob dudes, right? It's really weird, very early. That's probably, I don't know, maybe 30s or 40s, I guess, something like that. I'm trying to think if they actually say the date of that particular story. Let's see. Yeah, did you know that Bruce Wayne's father once wore a Batman costume and fought criminals? Find out how it happens in this story. Yeah, it doesn't really say when it was from, but kind of odd. Fun, different, right? Then you got Batman with Robin, the Boy Wonder, the Duped Domestics. Okay, another reprint. Let's see. This says, So this particular one is from 1944, Detective Comics. Let me see if the other one, if I just maybe missed the date on that other story. Let's see. Wow, that's in really small print. 1956. Yeah, so that's 1956, and this particular one is from 1944. So these are some old ones here. So here, the Duke Domestics. All right, let's see the old school artwork there. This one involves Alfred quite a bit, which is kind of cool. So if you have any interest in the Alfred character, he actually gets involved here, and he actually throws on the Batman costume. All right, this one's kind of funny. This one's more humorous. So this is at a time where these Batman stories were not all that serious. So Alfred takes up the mantle of the Bat, and he's an early version of Catwoman as well. Not the Selena Kyle we all know and love, right? You can see her at the top of the bottom there. She wears like an actual cat mask. All right. There's some good action in here and whatnot. But in the end, this is kind of more like a funny story than anything else. How about the story of the Batmobile? Got Justice League down below there. Here we got Batman with Robin the Boy Wonder, the true false face of Batman, and this is from, let's see, 1957. All right, so here we've got Batgirl. Okay, so here this starts off showing a Batgirl that just joined the ranks of the now forming a threesome. And, well, not in that way, a team of three. Get your minds out of the gutter, folks. And here we show Batman unveiling his true identity to this new member of the team, Batgirl. And Robin is like, Bruce Wayne's face, Batman's really taking Batgirl, whoever she is, into his confidence. He's like, why is he, giving up his identity? So here, this kind of shows the emergence of Batgirl, who of course is Barbara Gordon, right? So here is her emergence as a superhero and joining the ranks of Batman and Robin. Okay, this is kind of how this all kind of begins here. And then we, like I said, we do find out what her real identity is. Okay. But Batman is trying to put her in his trust. He's got her blindfolded. Let's take her to the Batcave. And, she's not supposed to know where it is and all this. Meanwhile, Robin is kind of wondering, should we really trust her? We don't really know her. Whatnot. But she's proving to be a formidable teammate as Bruce, realizes that, maybe I do need to trust in her. And what he does is he reveals who he is right here. But then in the end, she's like, oh, I can't believe it. That's who it is. But then in the end, it's revealed that Batman was trying to trick, just throw a herring out there and saying, I'm not really Bruce Wayne. I just wanted to kind of throw you down that route. So in the end, she really doesn't know who Batman is. And she's like, Bruce Wayne did that for Batman. I know they're good friends, and he just threw that out there just to throw me off the trail. So in the end, so she goes, and so Batman wanted me to tell you that he borrowed your face, Bruce, to help him preserve his real identity. I'm always glad to be of help in any way or whatever to Batman. And she says to herself, if I should ever get the notion to find out Batman's other identity, the first name I'll scratch off the list will be Bruce Wayne. Of course, we know in history that eventually they all know who everybody is, right? Amongst the Batman family there. Here's a nice little ad page. All right. And then this one is this is mostly a Robin story. Robin going up against Crazy Quilt. I don't know about you guys, but Crazy Quilt is the most ridiculous villain of all time. Basically, this guy has no superpowers, and what he does is he can eliminate the color from things. That's what he does. The reason they call him Crazy Quilt is because he wears this costume that looks like a multicolored quilt something. Like almost like a blanket. Just absolutely bizarre. And he's got this little gun that, like I said, when he sprays it, like he's fighting Robin down below. He sprays Robin, all of a sudden Robin's costume turns white. God forbid, right? What a formidable foe. Things change colors or lose their colors. I'm just like, who thought of this villain? This is worse than some of those really kooky Flash villains of old. Yeah. And nothing much happens here. It's just a ridiculous story. This is the little filler here. There's a little ad for Zatanna. And then you've got The Outsider Strikes Again. As I believe, is this the last story? Yeah, last story here. And this is from 1965, Bob Kane. Again, some of these old stories there's a charm to them, but on their own, they're really nothing spectacular. I personally prefer the darker Batman stuff. That's why I think the first story here is so good. But that was Batman, right? This is old school stuff, and there is a certain charm to this. Good artwork, though, nonetheless, right? And The Outsider Strikes Again. This is a 2-part tale. And I always like the old school artwork when the Batman fighting crime, right? Got all his little gadgets and things. And we get the last page, and we got letters. Okay, and a preview of what's going to be coming up next. And really cool art on the back. No, basically just the toy soldiers. So, fun 100-page special edition of Batman. Again, you got one story, the main story, the new story is very serious and kind of darker, and then the rest is all kind of lighthearted, fun, old school Batman stuff. So you get a little taste of everything here. So issue number 255 from 1974, Batman. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know what you think of this. If you have it, if you've read it, or if you think this is something you want to go check out, you can probably get this out there in the wild. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we get the link to the Sea Tranquility merch page where you can actually get a Comic Book Geezer shirt. And we also have a cup of coffee mug as well. So go check it out. And thanks in advance. We'll see you soon here with more stuff on Comic Book Geezers. I am Pete Pardo. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.